You can cheat to get your certificates, but you cannot cheat to get commendation. You're welcome, viewers. In this video, we shall continue with our paper, Love and Life. We'll go to page 6. The Jesus diet. This is very much related to our the Quran. The Jesus righteous corner, the Jesus diet. But I do say unto you, kill neither man nor beast, nor yet the food which goes into your mouth. I like the last one. The Quran says you don't eat dead animals. I think the last one means that, as somebody who believes in the Quran. So you don't kill it and eat it. You have to slaughter it in a proper way. I think it's related directly to the Quran in that sense. But I do say unto you, kill neither man nor beast, nor yet the food which goes into your mouth. For if you eat living food, the same will quicken you. But if you kill your food, the dead food will kill you also. For life comes only from life, and from death comes always death. For everything which kills your foods kills your bodies also. Therefore, eat not anything which fire or frost has destroyed. I tell you truly, live only by the fire of life, and prepare not your foods with the fire of death. Who is the writer? Source: the Essene New Testament by Reverend Brother Nazaria D.D. So, Reverend Nazaria, we are making use of your writing here. That is finished. Now, the platform of righteousness. Oh, let me show you too. And that is written by anointed spiritual leader of the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. The name is Ben Ammi. Ben Ammi. In 1996, Pope John Paul endorsed the theory of evolution, stating that man evolved from some form other than human. It's laughable. And what is that form? Some form other than human. And who made that form? Who evolved that form from which human was evolved? So somebody help me ask the Pope. If it's evolved from some form other than human, what about that form? Who evolved that form? Who made that form? That's what the Pope should answer. Okay. Yah ordained the writing of the Old Testament by his prophets, his anointed. The first of these writings is Genesis, wherein the foundation for the Bible is laid. Genesis 1:1. Genesis 1:1 states, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth," and proceeds to describe the state of man in his pure state prior to the fall. Yah, the God of Israel, created man in his image, giving them his intelligence on how to do that which would be beneficial to him. It is within this framework that man was instructed on how to maintain his relationship with God, his people, and the creations. In returning to the cycles of Yah, it can only be successful if the foundation established within the Genesis is sought and embraced. In 1996, Pope John Paul endorsed the theory of evolution, stating that man evolved from some form other than human, and placed the teaching authority of the Catholic Church firmly behind this position. See Appendix A. In brackets. This stand must be seen as a rejection in the belief of the God of the Bible. Okay, mm, I love that. It is in direct opposition to the Genesis written, to the Genesis written, to the Genesis writings of Moses, and therefore must be a declaration of allegiance to another God. Clearly, what has taken place is that men are fashioning gods in images that are pleasing to them, which has nothing to do with the God of creation, Yah and his laws. Well done, Mr. Ami Benjamin. Yes, paragraph. Laws govern every society on this earth. Americans keep the laws of that country, as do the French, Germans, etc., adhere to the laws and codes of conduct of their respective nations. Full stop. Likewise, God's righteous laws, his constitution found in the books of the prophets, govern his people. Those who adhere to the tenets of this constitution, full stop. This body of people who govern themselves in accordance to Yah's laws compromise the kingdom of Yah. This is central tenet of the platform, and and as each plank relates to the understanding of Yah and the correct application of the laws and instructions. Source Ben Ami. Okay, and they shall be and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. I think this is the appendix he's talking of. It's under here in black. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God, and I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and of their children after them. Jeremiah 32, 38 to 19. That's Jeremiah 32, verses 38 and 39. We go to page 6. Letters to the editor. I think this is the Ghanaian section. This section concerns Ghanaians, but nonetheless, we shall read them. Ghanaians need moral courage. Moral courage is the lever that moves the world steadily to better things. The chief of the chief of a town had a vision to transform the image of his town to benefit its status as the area capital. He levied annual tolls on the citizen to initiate some development projects in town. Initially, the inhabitants were apprehensive about the initiative, and the recalcitrant ones began to criticize the chief. Some even said he needed the money for personal litigation at I don't know what sort of English is this, at a courts. Hmm? Okay, let's make it at a court. While some paid their levies, others refused and were persecuted. Critics of the chief were seriously at work, saying he had brought hardship upon them, and were not at all pleased with the trend of affairs. Nevertheless, the chief was not daunted. After a period of time, development gradually took place, and within some time, the town had undergone a complete facelift and had a new look. Beautiful streets with lights and pavements, pipe-borne water, in uh, recreational sports, and beautiful gardens, a hospital, and new buildings for the local authority. for the local authority school were some of the outcome. Each person must cultivate some moral courage to urge him or her on. To urge him or her on. Ghana stands in need of such people for their development. Ebenezer Ewa. Ebenezer Ewa, as the writer. So, Ebenezer, your story is right here if you are listening. It smacks on shameless opportunity. That's the next person writing, and he is called Francis Fajij Somanya. Dear editor, I'm unhappy about the attitude of Nigerians for as the Bakassi Peninsula is as far as the Bakassi Peninsula is concerned. When the International Court of Justice ruled that Cameroon was the true owner of the peninsula, Nigeria's response was one very commendable. The country accepted defeat in good faith. So this is history for some of us, the young ones. Mm. Uh, but turning about to condemn the ruling is most undiplomatic and I bet outrageous. It marks of a double-tongued deceit. If Nigeria knew it would not accept the ruling of the court, why did it present submission before it? People have lost their lives through the peninsula issue, and I don't think that following this honest judgment, anyone should go back and start fighting over it. Nigeria's Nigeria's present stance smacks of opportunity, and they should know that they can't bully Cameroon. They must also recommend that there are many Nigerians living in Cameroon and vice versa. Uh, neighbor must neighbor must coexist in peace, and and any further untoward action on the part of Cameroon will be totally misplaced. I think he wants to say neighbors. Let me correct it. Neighbors must coexist in peace. And the writer is Francis Fadije Somanya. Well, nobody knows whether Francis is a Cameroonian or not. I don't know. Maybe Ghanaians will know. It's not all Ghanaian names that I know. The madness on our roots. I don't know if we should read this. Okay, it's a short story. Let me say hallelujah before proceeding. Good gracious, there are too many electric drivers in the system, and they are those causing accidents on the roads. In fact, they are killers. I don't agree. Francis Fadije, I don't agree. There have been so many electric drivers who have come up to be the best drivers. You see, the colonialists trained us. And I'm sure of what I'm saying. The illiterates are not educated, but they tend to drive, and they drive more carefully than those you think are educated. They don't drink. They are responsible. eh? That's all they need. And so, Francis, sorry, who is the writer? Beatrice Kwame Kumasi. So, Beatrice Kwame, if you are listening, I don't quite agree with you. I personally know of drivers who have driven for years, 30 years, 40 years above, and no single accident. But they are not literate. Now the literates are there, and we are dying in our roads. They are killing us in our streets, on our roads. So let's go on. Uh, in fact, they are killers. No, they are not killers. Paragraph. They are not. They are so indisciplined, and never again should they be allowed to continue to be killers on our roads. Somehow I may understand here because the present illiterate drivers are not like the illiterate drivers of old. Mm. But it's not due to the illiteracy, it's just due to their bring up, their upcoming, how they are brought up. It's not because of the illiteracy. Mm. Okay, we all we all hail the no BECE, no driving license. BECE is basic examination, basic certificate examination. We all hail the no BCE, no driving license policy. All drivers who apply for a license should be basically literate. That is, in possession of the BECE or middle school certificate, middle school living certificate. Experience has shown that those who are literate are better able to comprehend the rules governing traffic, comma, are less reckless, and are more defensive, minded on the roads. Uh, the extent of indiscipline on the roads is such that unless drastic action is taken, very regrettable situations will continue to beset our dear country. Let us not be afraid of instituting policies that would make Ghana move forward. We have relaxed on our laws so much that everyone says Ghana is a lawless country. This should not be. There must be change in attitudes and everything else. Beatrice Kwame, like I said, Kumasi. So, Beatrice, I don't quite side with you. Hmm? Illiterates have performed very well on our roads, more than literates. Hmm? They were brought up well and they were good drivers. I remember when I was young, the colonialists told the drivers to drive very well. Before you could drive, in fact, you could get a license, it was difficult. And even at home, people used to put stones just a little bit above the breadth of the vehicles, the tires, and you would go reverse and even drive with a trailer. My dad used to drive a tractor with a trailer. You have to know how to go reverse with a trailer. He was illiterate. So it's the training, it's not the school. People have gone to school and come and look at Ghana now. Filled all over the place. I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. When the colonials were here, it was not like that. We had people called sanitary inspectors. We used to call them Sama Sama. They would summon you to court, so they were called Sama Sama. Every place was neat. And when you see Sama Sama coming, you start shivering. But look at the present day sanitary inspectors. They don't do anything. They can't do anything. But it's not they are making. So, Beatrice, I think you should come again. I hope you're alive and I hope you're listening. The media is breeding immorality. Okay, let's see what the writer means by Solomon Kweku. I can't read the other name. Is it Mensik or Menvek? I can't read. By Solomon Kweku. Anyway, dear editor, the joint military and police exercise aimed at aimed at clamping down on armed robbers has been yielding good results. But to add fresh impetus in curbing the spate of armed robbery, rape, murder, and other such felonies, it is imperative that the mass media, especially the electronic media, scrutinize the stuff they feed. Scrutinize the stuff they feed the public on, as it has in one way or the other played a key role in contributing to to such felonies. The developed countries of the Western world continue to export their culture and value system to the developing country like Ghana, thereby eroding the cultural and traditional heritage of the country. Paragraph. This assertion is even truer, judging from the erotic-centered uh, soap operas that dominate the screen of our television sets, and the deluge of bad songs that are enjoying a lot of airtime on most of our radio stations. Uh, it is common knowledge. It is common knowledge that the media, as an agent of sociali- socialization, directly affect the thought of the people, hence, hence their behavior. Is it a surprise? Sorry, is it a surprise that with these erotic scented soaps and bad songs witness more violence in the country? It should also be borne in mind that most violence against women could be attributed to the media, which has uh, conscientiously, conscientiously or otherwise prescribe the dress code for our women. Oh, I side with you, but like I say, come and see today. You wrote, this thing was written in 2002, but come today, 2023, 20 years, 21 years later, and see how our women dress. Nobody can do anything about it for now. Uh, I think we should stop there. We should stop there. Is this Ghana's World Cup chance? It's for footballers. Mm, for footballers, I think we should. Why not form Why not form cooperatives? We should stop that too. Black Hammer seals an escape deal. The new miniseries. Okay, we shouldn't read it. It's not very necessary. The Adventures of the Archbishop. Another series of stories. One story in the series. Men confess the dirty things they do to girls. Okay, I think this is catchy. This is catchy. Mhm. Men confess the dirty things they do to girls, and I know listeners will open their ears and listen. Okay, seduction. Who is the writer? I don't think there is a writer here. Maybe it's from the uh, editor or something. Mhm. Uh, I am I am in a long distance relationship with my girlfriend. So every month we meet at a halfway point for a weekend and have great sex. Paragraph. On one trip, my girlfriend really wanted to do shopping, so I decided to hang around the hotel for a while. There was a wedding reception going on in the banquet hall downstairs, and I thought I would sneak in and some free grab grab some few grab. They had an exotic psychic woman doing readings at the party. So I decided to give it a trial. The woman seductively ran her fingers over my palms and said, I have a feeling you are not an invited guest. That's the psychic talking. She then slipped a hotel room key into my hand and said, You are very and said, You are very attracted He said, You are very attracted to me and wish to pursue your desires. Well, she was some psychic because an hour later we were really rocking the cosmos in our suits. These women, these women. If we are men tricksters, we have also women tricksters. Um, have the cosmos in her suits. Let me repeat that. She then slipped a hotel room key in my hand and said, You are very attracted to me and wish to pursue your desires. Well, she was some psychic because an hour later, we were really rocking the cosmos in her suit. Afterward, I showered and returned to my room, and my girlfriend never found out. But the psychic had made another fairly apt prediction that day. My girlfriend and I were not meant to be. We broke up a couple of months later, and when she caught me cheating with a waitress at a hotel bar. Sorry, let me repeat that. My girlfriend and I were not meant to be. We broke up a couple of months later when she caught me cheating with a waitress at a hotel bar. The next comes baby blapper. Baby blapper. Maybe you understand what that is. I don't understand every. It's not everything that I understand. Baby blapper. I was really nervous about meeting my girlfriend's parents, but she kept assuring me that they were going to love me. Her folks had very pregnant sister. Her folks and very pregnant sister met us at a restaurant, and it didn't take long for me to warm up to them. To warm up to them. After sweating through a few rounds of questioning, I felt a little more at ease. So I started to ask them more questions. Say more questions. Let me correct. More questions. I asked her. I asked her father about golf, her mother about her job in advertising, and her sister about the baby. After her dad dropped his coffee cup, her mom spit out her food, and her sister started to cry. My girlfriend grabbed me by the arm and led me to the bathroom, where she informed me that her sister was metabolically challenged, not pregnant. I thought about making a break for it, but she forced me back to the table so I could stammer out an apology. My girlfriend then decided we should just skip dessert and leave. Hopefully, her sister did too. Family affair. This is another story. When my sister got married last summer, we had a huge celebration. The ceremony was at a beautiful church, and the reception was at my aunt's country estate. I got pretty sloshed during the party and decided to explore the house. I walked into one of the bedrooms and stumbled upon his hot girl and stumbled upon this hot girl changing her outfit. She was just as drunk as I was, and in no time we were hooking up. Once we finished, we headed downwards towards the wedding, and danced for most of the night. But as soon as we started getting frisky on the dance floor, my aunt ran up and interrupted us. Apparently, this cutie, apparently this cutie was my aunt's daughter from a previous marriage, which made us cousins. Okay. In the doghouse, the next story in the doghouse. Even though I lived my Even though I lived with my girlfriend, I hooked up with my sexy next door neighbor, Cynthia, whenever she was feeling particularly horny. Particularly horny. One night, I heard Cynthia watering the plants in her front yard, so I waited until my girlfriend fell asleep, and then took the dog for a walk. I tied him to a tree in Cynthia's yard and went inside with her, where we did our thing. When I came back out, when I came back outside, the dog was had has disappeared. I searched for 2 hours before finally giving up and going home. Before finally giving up and going home. When I got there, the dog was lying next to my girlfriend. in the living room. She explained that she had come looking for me, saw the dog tied to the neighbor's tree, then heard moaning, they heard moaning from Cynthia's house. She, she put two and three together and kicked me out, but she kept the dog. Um, he forced the maid to stoop for sex. Well, I don't know if we should read it. She forced the maid to stoop for sex. Okay, let's go. Mm. I have absolute confidence that you can help me solve the problem, which has been gnawing at my brains for quite a couple of weeks now. Paragraph. I've been in love with a 28-year-old man for the past 3 years. I am 26. The problem with this man is that although he is handsome and desirable, he has no scruples whatsoever. What is more, he is very wasteful and extravagant. And extravagance. Okay, he's very wasteful and very wasteful and extravagant. Let me correct it. He can fry 6 eggs for breakfast alone. He can fry 6 eggs for breakfast alone, but 6 eggs is nothing. I know somebody who fried a whole crate of eggs, 30, a whole crate of eggs, 30, and finish all at the spot. No, that's this true story. Just buy a whole crate of 30, of eggs, 30, finish it at the spot. Mm. Anyway, unfortunately, he died early. I don't know what killed him. Whether it's diabetes or something. I don't know. Mm. Okay, let's go. Let's go on. He can fry 6 eggs for breakfast alone. The sad part of it is that he is jobless, and I have to fend for him out of love. This notwithstanding, he is wasteful and wants to live like a king. So I don't know. Some men are like that. Just be chopping from a woman without looking back. Okay, like a king. Recently, I contracted a young girl. Recently, I contracted a young girl to be washing my things for me. I came home one afternoon to see him eh, to- uh, seriously screwing the girl, having made her to stoop to take him from the back. Having made her to stoop to take him from the back. I don't know what that meant. Okay. I was particularly horrified with this one because the girl was gasping for breath. I was particularly sorry because stupid because the girl was grasping for breath. He lives with me, so I decided that he should leave after I sent the girl packing. The girl told me he forced her to stoop for sex and that it was not her will to get screwed, but she had to leave. 2 weeks, 2 weeks after Yao left, I was forced to take him back because he came back on his knees to apologize. Look at that. Look at that. I really missed him when he was away. So when he came begging, I took him back and asked him to reform his character. Paragraph. Now, when he came back, he was at first as meek as a lamb. Later, I heard he traced the maid to her home, and whether he has since been screwing her or not, I can't really tell. I think I can. Okay, I think the writer is Caroline Accra. When you were taking him back, you should know that he won't stop. Mm? Sex is like alcohol. You take one sip, another. You should know that this boy, yeah, or whatever it's called, will not stop with the meat. It's the first with the meat. Okay. Uh, Now, when he came back, he was at first meek. Later, I heard he. Okay, we read that. I can't. I heard he traced the maid to her home, and whether he's since been screwing her or not, I can't really tell. You see, his sex drive is enormous. Despite the good romance I give him, he still can't keep it cool. He's always he always has a hard on, like a tireless he goat. Hmm. This is a woman describing the boyfriend like a tireless he goat. Dear advisor, what dear advisor, comma, what recently broke the camel's back was the fact that as he as did some was the fact that he did something I can never imagine he would do. My father, comma, before going abroad to live there for 3 years, left me some blank checks to ensure my comfort. I didn't realize that one of the checks got missing. That made me suspicious. What made me suspicious was that news came filtering into me that my boyfriend had been going to a certain expensive hotel with two particular girls. More, I think I remember the story. Yes, I remember the story. Moreover, he bought a couple of new dresses lately and shoes. And when I asked him how he got the money, he retorted that did I think he will always be poor? Look at that. He retorted that did I think he would always be poor? Since then, I didn't want to inquire about his monetary affairs. But what made me uneasy was that he, he organized a birthday party and spent 2.5 million cedis. Realizing that I was becoming overly suspicious, he quickly told me that he had received £100 sterling from his uncle in the United States, in the United Kingdom. Sorry. Anyhow, something had just told me last week to check my 6 blank checks, and lo and behold, one was missing. I went to the bank to find, to my dismay, that the person who stole them check had withdrawn 6 million cedis. Hmm. I knew it. I knew it was my boyfriend who did this. We're scheduled to be engaged immediately he gets a job, but his conduct is such that I'm having double thoughts about him. Now, I want to turn him over to the police to assist in the investigation of the drone check, but I know I will regret it as soon as I do that. I love him. I've confronted him about the check, and he has been angry with me for labeling him a thief. Dear sir, do you think this man is honest enough to be taken seriously as a marriage partner? Don't you think he can ruin my future? But you've seen it already. Why go and ask? Love is blind. Hmm? You've seen the handwriting is very clear, and you are still asking questions about it. Okay, let's hear the answer. Dear Caroline, let us not condemn the suspect before he is declared the criminal. If you can find a way of checking out if this uncle really sent him a £300 sterling, it can help you to ascertain if he really stole the blank check or not. But where did the check go? Where did the blank check go? And who stole it from her room? No, I don't side with this advice. Hmm? In any case, if I were you, in any case, if I were you, I will get to the bottom of that stolen check case, because the thief can be worse. The thief can do worse things to you if you don't act on this one. So put love aside. Yes, we are not talking. So put love aside now, for now. If he says he is not the one, simply tell him you are sending the matter to the police because you can't lose your father's 6 million cedis like that. Perhaps if you threaten police action, he will confess to you. If he doesn't, take the case up before he does something more serious. Yes, you're not talking, advisor. Or Madam, I think Madam Advisor or Mr. Advisor. Mm? Before any, before he does anything more disastrous, the police have handwriting experts who can determine if he is the one who stole the cash or not. Even if they get to know even if they get to know he is a thief, you can decide not to press charges. Mhm. Now, your boyfriend cannot be a good husband. First, he is a typical Casanova, a maid screwer, a maid, or a maid servant screwer, and only God knows what he would be screwing next. Yes, what he would be screwing next. I'm sorry, the screwing is not my word, it's their word. That's having sex with a lady. He has he has given you enough headache. He's giving you enough headaches. And if you marry such a man, you may not you may not live long because he will bring you too many problems. He will bring you too many problems, sorry, than you can cope with. Think about it. Okay, viewers, I think we've had enough. This column is about health, health, health. And, there is a portion to have cut off, so I don't know. The red is on women. The red things ties on women. I don't know. Okay, is marriage truly worth it? I want a pamper. Oh my God, I want a pamper. Uh, Africans. Did you know the universal law of God? I think we've read something like this before. The dilemma of maidservant. So, viewers, I think that's about all. I don't think. Okay, we'll see if the paper is worth. The rest of the stories are worth reading or not. But we'll end here for now. Time is against us. But I think the universal law of karma is destroying the iron. Tuesday, January. Okay, we shall see if we will read it next week or in our next video. Thank you very much for listening. May God bless you. Ilalekai.